Hey everyone, I hope your Daniel fast is going well. Here's a recap of day one. So I started my day off with a simple breakfast. Want to keep it really easy, nothing too complicated. Some oatmeal, raisins, golden raisins, and some bananas. And I also added a cup of hot water to go with it. Usually in the mornings I have hot tea, but since hot tea is not Daniel fast friendly, I decided to swap it out for some hot water, which, despite its tastelessness, did the trick. And this brings me to tip number one. Make sure that you have substitutes for your cravings. You don't want to give yourself a chance to have your mind wander off to some place with more flavor and more seasoning. So if you like having something crunchy and salty, try making some popcorn and seasoning it yourself, or making some kale chips, baking them in the oven and adding a little flavor to it, and it'll hit the craving just the right way. Or if you're used to maybe having cookies, try try eating some mixed nuts with dried fruit. Oftentimes, it's just a matter of finding the right combination of texture and taste so that you're not tempted to fall off. When you find a Daniel fast friendly option, you'll help keep yourself on track. So for lunch and dinner, I had the same thing. I did a sweet potato chili, which is something I've made before on this channel. So all of the recipes that I make, I'm gonna provide a link in the description box below. Obviously, things like oatmeal and popcorn, it's not really a recipe for it. It's kind of okay. Google it. So yeah, for lunch and dinner, I had a sweet potato chili, and I think next time I won't cook it in the slow cooker, which is what I did here, and it made it too soft. The quinoa was a little too mushy. It had no, like, no feel, and you don't want to eat a mush for lunch. But I was hungry. It hit the spot, and I was grateful. And this actually brings me to tip number two and three. Tip number two, make sure you make one thing and a large amount of it. Cooking in bulk is going to save you from having to think every night about what you're going to make every single day, because cooking from scratch, as the Daniel fast sometimes requires, is very time consuming. Getting the ingredients and doing the prep and then doing the cooking, and all of us, or a lot of us, I should say, work, or we have other obligations that take up our time, so it's not easy to come home and whip up a meal. Don't waste your time. And that leads me to tip number three. I couldn't make my quinoa or the overnight chili unless I had a slow cooker. So it's a little late to tell you the equipment to get for the Daniel fast, although maybe if you're like me and you still have 2 weeks to go, it might not be so late, but consider getting little things that can make cooking a lot easier. Now, the modification that I'm doing, again, I'm not using pre-made food. Everything is from scratch, and there are variations on the Daniel fast. So I don't recommend you get anything that you won't use again. But, you know, like a mini chopper, like a small mini food processor, that will always come in handy, and it's just going to make prep that much easier. A strong blender, a pressure cooker, things that'll speed up the pace. And my personal favorite, the NutriBullet, which is like probably the best appliance, small appliance that I have in my house. It does everything really quickly, and it can chop stuff up, it can blend stuff, it can mill things into powder. I'm not a commercial, but it helps to have the stuff that you need. Hope your fast is going well. On to day two. Next recap tomorrow. Have a good one. God bless. Bye.